This is your digital girl MEHUL only on 94.3 Radio 1. And well, hey, guess who I have in the studios currently with me? It is the goddess herself, Rajakumari. Give it up for Rajakumari. Hello, Queen.
Hello.
I have been waiting for the day to talk to you because, quite frankly, as a kid, even right now though, I have always looked up to you. You are such an inspiration to so many women, so many girls out there, and it's just so strong. The kind of message and the kind of brand you have as a Devi, as a Mata. So hi, Pausi, hi.
I'm just smiling. I was
Going
like,
on and
wow.
on.
I was like, it worked. When you were talking to me, I just said, wow, it worked. The seed was planted and it grew. So I was just so thankful that you've received, the art in that way, and that I can, be that energy for you. I'm very thankful for that.
Yes, and not just me, but millions of ladies out there. Quite precisely, approximately 6 million monthly listeners on just Spotify, guys. How has the journey been? Let's start from there.
I think turning into an artist from a songwriter was like a very active decision. Like, I had thought that I needed to sell 1 million records with someone else to learn how to do it. And I feel like when I started my artist career and I put out Mute, which was my first record, and then came to India the next year and put out City Slums and everything that would come after that, Karma, Bindis and Bangles, all these things. I feel like I just tried to focus on what was really important to me and the message that I wanted to put out there. And I didn't see a lot of female representation,
Yeah, absolutely.
in the space. So it's been a journey, but I'm really thankful that I've been able to push for my art in every situation. There have been times where obviously all artists have to do things, that not necessarily their favorite things, but I feel like people have learned with me. They've given me space to kind of experiment, and now, with Godmother Records, with my new album, I'm in a really happy place.
Absolutely, and we see that you haven't gone away from your brand. That really strong, strength in how many ever music labels you do and how many ever genres you get into, from Bollywood to independent rap artists, all of that you've been through. What would you say was the start of this huge empire that you've built for yourself as a Kumari?
I love these words. I'm like the Kumari Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yes, it's there.
that's the vibe, right?
What was the first step in creating this for myself? I think
You've done. Sorry to cut you off. You've done songwriting for about 10 years. So
now it's at 10 years. Yeah, I feel like before my artist career, I think I did about five years.
wow, and you set foot in India
2016. Yeah,
How was that?
it was a really important time, I think, and I think it's definitely God's timing, because when I stepped foot in India, I told people it felt like it was about to be a fire. Like, there was so much energy, there was so much excitement around hip hop, and for me, growing up in America, being an Indian person making hip hop and being told, Indians don't make hip hop, to come to India and see, what was happening in the scene, with. I always tell people that it's like a seed that's planted in a different soil. It has different temperature, different soil, but the plant is still the same. And it's like hip hop, the tree is still the same. It is expressing, the voice of the youth, those that are, ostracized from regular society. And, it's it's also, you have to think about the fact that 60% of the population is under 30, this is going to be the voice of the future. And I just looked around and I did see women, but I also saw, not enough platform being presented for the women that were here, and I thought that was unfair, and I took my American audacity and I just burst through the door, and I made sure to leave the door open behind me and make sure to create more opportunities for women. And that's my vision and goal for the next 5-10 years as Godmother Records, is to create a safe space for women and start changing the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Well, what would you say to the 10-year-old Shweta Yallapragoda Rao?
Oh yeah, she was.
I mean, how is she different from the Rajakumari right now?
I love that you asked about 10-year-old Sweta, because 10-year-old Sweta was doing a 15-city dance tour of
In
India.
India,
Yeah,
yes.
so she was touring India. She was preparing for this life.
Yeah.
So, when I get this question asked to me, I'm always like, I feel like time is not linear. It's like cyclical, so I can almost like speak to. I feel like my music is my higher self speaking to my younger
It's like
herself.
an interstellar situation.
It's always happening, you
Yeah.
know, because sometimes I'll write lyrics before they happen and then they manifest into truth. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just a dollar in a dream, now we're certified. And like a week later, I got my platinum certification, you know, so those kinds of things are happening. I don't feel like I made any mistakes. I feel like every lesson was really important. And now, I think now, in where I am, owning my own masters, you know, controlling my career, controlling my team, you know, like making sure that everyone around me is positive vibrations and everything. I would just tell her to keep the dream alive. Never let anyone kill the dream, because honestly, persistence, perseverance, and unbreakable belief is all you need,
Absolutely.
and it will happen.
Yeah.
Everyone gets their chance.
Yeah. Till the end goal, though, that consistency is.
You gotta just keep it. Like, you never know. Like, even you can be really frustrated and be like overwhelmed. And I remember I was at a video shoot that was like way over time, and like the heels were hurting, and like, you know, you could think about all these like human moments, and then I just thought about it for a second. I was like, wait, I dreamt of this, and I had like, when they're like 5, 6, 7, 8, the lights came on, and I just took a click of that
Switch,
moment. I just
yeah.
took a click of that moment just to be like, you're gonna be an old lady remembering like what the lights felt like, you know. So I think it's important to just keep the belief. There's no time limit. It'll keep evolving.
Absolutely. And you've been in front of the camera ever since you were young. So it's not something, very out of the world for you to be on camera. And you had said this one thing in an interview. Your parents expected you to get married after that life. Do they expect you to get married anytime soon? Or is that something in your trajectory in the future even?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm romantic, and
Yeah.
I believe in love,
Yeah.
but I also think people should get married when they're ready.
Yeah.
And I think that now, like women, like our generation, like maybe my grandma's generation, my mom's generation, they didn't have time to like work on themselves, understand themselves. I think we're the first breaking that kind of boundary, and I've had so much time to learn who I am, and I'm ready now, to be in like a really like nice relationship where people, it makes sense, and it can be a partnership, not like, I think maybe our parents' generation was like super codependent, and I think we're like learning
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. So yeah, marriage is definitely in my charts. I mean, I've been told by my astrologers that
Yeah.
a good
For
time
real?
is arriving.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been told that my good times are coming. But yeah, my parents bother me about it every single day. Yeah,
As Indian parents should.
every single
I think
day.
Indian parents do that.
Sometimes they don't even say it. It's like the tone of voice changes, and
Yeah.
I already like no. I'm like, no, I already know you're gonna say that. Let me preemptively stop you and say, I'm really busy right now, Mom. Can't talk about.
Yeah, you just switch the conversation.
I try my best, but my mom has her focus.
Oh, damn. Well, I think that's every Indian kid
Even if you're
after a certain age.
even if you're born in America, it never stops.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Well, see, things are not too different. Well, but no, we peeked at your Instagram, and
Okay.
well, please tell us about the moment with John Legend.
Oh yes.
I mean, I want to know more. The audience wants to know more. The listeners want to know more.
It was such a crazy whirlwind experience.
Yeah.
So, John Legend and I collaborated on a song called "Keep on Walking," and it was for the Walker and KOTOR, and we got to perform, in Bombay and Delhi together. But I think the whole experience began for me writing the song in Los Angeles together. I happened to be like in LA at the time, and went over to his like studio house. We walk in. There's like all his like a few of his Grammys, not all of them, just a
Yeah,
few,
just a few.
a selection of his Grammys on top of the piano,
Yeah.
and he's just playing, and it's just it's like this idyllic situation. You're like,
Oh
oh
my
my God, it's John Legend, and like that voice is, and there's his fingers playing the chords, so you're like, oh my God, I'm here. And from meeting him, like just hello, my name is Rajakumari, to like us having the song recorded was 4 hours.
Are you serious?
It was crazy. So the
Wow.
song just like, I think it was like getting in the room with a writer of that caliber. It's been a long time since I've been like only in Los Angeles in circles, because usually when I was in Los Angeles working as a writer, I would work with someone Grammy award winning every day.
Yeah.
Like I would be in the studio with Timbaland or Scott Storch, or I mean like Tricky Stewart, and I can keep
Wow.
going. These people all made my project. Those were the people that shaped my music in the beginning before I came to India. So I got kind of used to being the only one at the table without a Grammy, and I was like, oh yeah, it means I'm in good company. And I think just like writing that song with him and my friend Melanie Fontana, who's a really incredible songwriter, we actually came up together. So it was so cool to like be back in the room together. the three of us, we wrote this record together, and it was just so cool because I had forgotten, what it was like to like be in the room and kill it in LA like that. So it was a big boost of like, a big validation, I guess, for me internally to like to remember that I was born to win. And
Some plug.
a little name drop of my album and my first single. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. And I remember the first thing I kind of talked to him about was, if you're coming to India, Indian people love you, okay? Your song, All of Me, is pretty much everybody's wedding song.
Yeah.
And I actually saw him for the first time at an Indian wedding in LA. Someone had booked John Legend. Of course, it was one of those weddings.
Yeah.
The roof was like made of roses.
Oh my
It was
God.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, there was a rumor. I know the rumor about how much you got paid for that wedding. So let me tell you something about Indians. We love if you wear Indian clothes. Please wear Indian clothes. So the conversation began, and then myself and my stylist Mira Godbolia, who's like one of my best friends, who just like started getting on this project with me. It was her crazy idea to put us in coordinated couture.
Yeah,
So
we see that in the pictures. Oh my God, lovely.
But it's like next level because it's like Amit Agarwal made those pieces and RGRK. So it was just, for me, it was a really fun experience. And then after he sang All of Me, everyone's crying, and then I come back out in matching outfit with him, my second look of the night, hello, and sing our song together. And it was just 3 minutes, and it was over like that. But it felt so incredible to be that bridge for him, like to be like, okay, you are in India and you're holding my hand and you're here seeing the place that I love the most, and you're seeing it in the way that I want you to see it, like that it's such a place of opportunity, such a great place, to be. So it was just really like a really sweet experience. I hope to do it for more and more. I want to bring more superstars into India.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would love that. we at Radio 1 especially, I mean, yes, for John Legend. And who else? Who are your dream collaborations?
Oh my God, I think I was
we know about Drake.
Drake is there. That's like the oldest, but it's actually in the same zone. Nicki Minaj.
Oh, yes.
My God, I was
absolutely.
listening to her today, and I just feel like, with women, people make them work so much harder. They almost like discredit them, and I was like, am I even guilty of this? I'm like, how much has Nicki Minaj inspired me so much?
Yeah.
And she constantly does it. Like, people try to knock her down, and she just comes back with the heat.
Stronger.
Oof.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh, I get the chills. She's so good. So I would love to work with Nicki Minaj and bring her to India.
Manifest that right
Nikki,
now.
you come to India, babe. I'm gonna take you to like this palace. I'll make sure you have a milk bath with honey and rose petals. We'll have monkeys deliver you like I don't know. They'll bring you like all kinds of treats. Come on.
We're gonna make her walk around on an elephant. That's for sure.
The elephants would just be there in the morning to just greet you, and I just want you to walk around in the finest couture. I just want you to have that experience. Please come to India with me, Nikki.
Absolutely. Oh my God,
That's
they
it.
would love that. Rajakumari x Nicki Minaj.
I just bring her in. I'll be like, here, this palace, and then she actually has Indian heritage, because she's from Trinidad, I believe, right? So she's I think there's a lot of it. Like, it's a forgotten Indian heritage. Like, we don't really connect a lot with the islands, but we should,
Yeah, I hope this reaches Nicki Minaj. Please get here.
Nikki, we love you, and we want you to come home, and we want you to, know what it feels like to come to the motherland and become with the Queen of Hindustan, please.
Yes. There is no other Indian ambassador that can get you into India and make you feel the proper roots and heritage of India.
We'll take her to the hood too. The Dawn was just synced on Never Have I Ever.
Yeah.
So episode 8, you guys, if you wanna hear me be in Never Have I Ever, they always end the episode with it. Yeah. So I think it was season 2, they used Karma. And
yes, they did. Yeah, I was watching that.
This season they used the Dawn.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. I just like when I'm part of when there's these really big moments in South Asian representation. I'm happy to be part of.
Yeah, and Never Have I Ever is actually one of those.
Actually, I remember the moment that I felt like hip hop would welcome me in. So I would always learn these songs and whatever was happening in pop music, whatever would get to me via my friends, because I only listened to A.R. Rahman and classical music growing up. Wow. Yeah, because I was very much a classical dancer, and I think there was a lot of sheltering to make sure my focus didn't go elsewhere. And when my focus did go elsewhere, it was because I remember listening to the Fugees was the first album I got, but it was Timbaland, that whole 2000s era, when he started to sample Indian music so heavily. Yeah. I just remember hearing Hindi on the radio or hearing tablas and watching, Get Your Freak On and like all these Indian styles. And I would later work with that choreographer, which was crazy. But anyways, all of these things, and I remember thinking, well, if hip hop can sample us, then I should be invited in. Like if I don't fit in white America or this idea of what the American beauty is, I'll never be blonde with blue eyes. I'll never be Britney Spears. But somehow in this, I understand it. Like the 808s feel like the deep drum part on the tabla or the mridangam or ghatam or something. So there was something, and then obviously rapping to me was very much like the tals, like Dalangutaka Dikutaka Tadigina Tom Rajakumari daughter of the king. How long you think that you could keep up with my tempo? Dance to the rhythm, dance in the Himalaya.
Ooh.
Ain't
Oh my god! Goosebumps!